gens, you actually have a worse background that you're looking into after you serve for the first volley, because the glare off the back screen and off the fans is much brighter on the side that Mal is looking into now.
Game point here for Washington. And we're even, 2-all, first set.
One of the interesting things about the history of these two guys is that they both started out hitting the ball just as hard as they could. When Washington got on the tour first, Julie, I mean, he was just pounding everything at 100 and some miles, and now forehands, backhands. He finally learned, I think, after he got with Brian Godfrey, that there's a better way and that you've got to kind of feel your way into a point. To some extent, the man he's playing against today, Sampras, did the same thing. He actually used to have a two-handed backhand when he was a kid, and then wanted to become a serve and volley player, so he switched to a one-hander.
Just such a natural serve and volleyer, Pete Sampras. Just flows so smoothly. He just takes one step and a split step, and you can just see everything is out in front. Very easy rhythm. Keeps the racket head up above his wrist and everything out in front. 15 love. When that forehand is on, though, it can be such a huge weapon, as is the case with a lot of forehands.
Cliff, he really cranks that forehand.
Well, he can be so explosive. You see, he serves very well for one thing. Now he comes through with shots like this. You're not expecting those kinds of, or that kind of result from his shot. You know, he can break you in a minute.
It's 40 love here, and Pete always has trouble with the brim of his hat when he's serving, so he has taken it off here. He tried it. And Pete Sampras has the game. He leads 3-2. First set. We'll be back. We'll be back to the Lipton Championships after this word from our ABC stations. Championships, our overhead shots today are from the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes, based in Pompano Beach, Florida. And at the controls up there is Captain Larry Chambers from Lighthouse Point, Florida. Cliff, I want to get up in that blimp at some point. Can you get me in there?
I wouldn't get into one of those things for anything in the world. Earn yourself a few frequent flyer miles, I guess, if you sail around in that thing all day. I'm going to let you take that trip with somebody
I went
else.
parasailing last week. I'm ready for the blimp this week. I think our producer, Brian Williams, could probably get me in there.
Quiet, please. Thank you.
Washington to serve. Sampras leads 3-2 in the first set.
First serve.
Pete did put the hat back on.
Terrific pass from Sampras.
It really looks as though his forehand's catching on. He made 8 errors, I think, in the first couple of games, and now he's starting to key in, see the ball a little bit better. On the run, he comes up with a great look at the angle that he was to get on that, but Washington puts his racket on everything at the net.
Love 15.
And that's now 6 straight points for Pete, and you sort of got the feeling when he did finally hold serve easily that he might go on a little bit of a run. He's one of those dangerous players. When they start to get their eye in, it's like, watch out.
And there you see the winners, Sampras with 9, Washington with only 1. .1530 here.
A chance for him there at love 30. Had a very good swing at that forehand and wasn't even close. Still has a pretty good shot at this game, and as you said just a moment ago, Pam, Malavia may have had the chances that he's going to have in this first set. He had 4 break points on Sampras' first 2 serve games, then it turned around.
This sets up double break point, 1540. And Washington certainly had his chances in the couple opening service games from Pete Sampras. 4 break chances and didn't convert on any of them, Washington. And now Sampras has 2.
And Sampras has the break. Let's take a look at the IBM ATP Tour rankings if we can.
Very solid looking group. In fact, 9 out of the top 10 were entered in this Lipton event. Jim Courier, the Australian Open champ, solidly in #1 position. And Pete Sampras gaining on him and also distancing himself from the rest of the field. Here's 6 through 10. Goran Ivanisevic, Michael Chang, Andre Agassi, Ivan Lendl, and Michael Steek.
Lendl won this tournament a couple of years and then hasn't played it in the last few years. He just is not comfortable playing in this South Florida climate for one reason or another. But he had a good year at the end of last year. Hasn't started out great this year, but he's in the top 10 again.
That's a look at Sampras' left ankle. He has some ligament damage in that left ankle. He also has a real problem with shin splints.
I think that's more of a problem, really, the shin splints. You know, it started with him back when he won the U.S. Open Championship. He went through a lot of terrific matches. He beat Thomas Muster, who was playing very well at the time. He beat Lendl, who was the top seed. He beat McEnroe and then Agassi in the final.
Dirty love.
And that makes 11 of 12 points. Sampras is rolled off here. 7 in a row on his serve, too.
And look at the variety that he has when he's up there. Nice touch on the volley. Probably didn't have to go for something that great. He's so loose at the net. His hand is very loose. That's how he can get the control and the angle with the drop volley.
And Sampras holds. He goes up 5-2 first set. We'll be back with more of the Lipton Championship after this. Taking a look at the Miami Seaquarium and all the dolphins. You know, Cliff, I swam with the dolphins a couple of weeks ago. It was really, really great.
It
They are wonderful.
Must have been fun for them, too.
I don't know. You'll have to ask them.
Which one of those was Dan Marino, Julie, do you think?